So it's Sunday the 27th of August and we are out on our long run. And Dawn, how long is our long run today?
20 miles!
20 miles? Why on earth would we be doing 20 miles?
You tell the viewers, John.
Because we are going to be running the Yorkshire Marathon on the 15th of October 2023. So the Yorkshire Marathon is just 7 weeks away from today. So is this some last minute rush of blood to the head?
So, although we've been doing a Fast and Furious 5k series, we've made sure during that time that we've continued with our long runs. We've done a couple of 15s, a couple of 16s and a couple of 18s.
That's right, we've calculated that with race commitments we've already got entered, we should be able to get in 4 20-mile runs in addition to those 6 long runs we've already done. Incidentally, 15s, 16s and 18s, I just can't run a prime number for a long run. So no 17s, no 19s, has to be 15, 16 or 18 or 20. So yes, trying something a little different. In the past, we've done long, grueling marathon campaigns and got thoroughly fed up and stale after about 8 or 9 weeks. So this is a short, sharp campaign, but we're wise enough to put at least some foundation blocks in over the last couple of months.
Whoop whoop, 20 miles in the bank.
Ooh.
I think we did really well there. We did it at a progressive pace, I'd say. The middle miles were multi-terrain and a bit bumpy.
So yes, long run number 1 done. Next week we're going to be appearing at the South Cheshire 20, a race we've not done before. We're not racing it, we're going to use it as a strong, progressive training run.
Yes, so it's not long run number 1, it's 20 number 1.
So for most of the last 4 years, there's no way I would have been able to do that, but with a combination of strength, conditioning, mobility, patient build-up, thinking about it, I've managed to get myself back into the position where I can contemplate marathon training.
So in all long runs you normally get some good patches and some bad patches. I had a little bit of a rough patch in the middle, but it didn't last too long and I knew it was just a rough patch. I also got a little bit hungry towards the end and realised it's probably because all I had was 2 slices of toast before doing the run, whereas you, John, had what? So next week I think I will be having porridge, as that seems to be the better fuel for a long run.
So shoe choice today, I went for the Adidas Pro 3s. I'm not sure I'm going to wear them for the marathon. Dawn's got her Adizero Pro 2s.
I really like the Pro 2s and I would wear them for a marathon. So next week at the South Cheshire 20 I'm going to wear the Alpha Flies so I can make up my mind whether it's these or those.
This way I've got 4 pairs of shoes, possibles. These, but I don't think I'll be wearing those. I've got some Puma DV8 Nitro Elites I love. I'm not sure they're up to a marathon. So I've got some thinking to do. Maybe I have to change my way of thinking, get myself a different set of rules. Put my best foot forward, stop being influenced by fools. Not my words. Those of you who've seen Dawn's video on how she achieved a sub-3 marathon, well, remember that that was one of the key extra ingredients you put into a training that most people don't. These long run double days, adding up to, well, up to the marathon distance on times.
So this run is being done at a very low zone 2. So around about 10-minute mile in.
So, why an autumn marathon? Over to you, Dawn.
Well, for myself, it's unfinished business. Many of you will know that my campaign to run a marathon in the spring didn't actually happen. And so...
Well, the campaign happened.
Well, yes, that's right, the campaign happened.
The marathon.
The marathon didn't happen, sorry. And so I want to get one in before the end of the year. And in this age group before I move into the next age group. And you, John?
Well, as for me, I think it's 2012 since I last raced a marathon properly. So I think there's some unfinished business there. I've gone right through the Vet 45 category without really racing one, and I'd like to see what I can do now I'm in the Veteran 50 category. I shall be producing a separate video about how good I think I can get at this stage in my running over the marathon, so watch out for that one coming up. But in terms of this autumn, I've got 2 goals. So my first goal is to train for and execute a marathon properly, and the second goal is to see how close I can get to running 3:15. That is the London Marathon good for age qualifier for a man in my age category.
So my target is to, number one, complete the marathon, and number two is to hopefully run inside 3 hours and 30 minutes, and number three, I would like to qualify for England Masters in the marathon.
And that mention of England Masters qualifiers segues us nicely into which marathon we're actually planning to do. So apart from England Masters qualification, Dawn, why the Yorkshire Marathon?
Well, in terms of marathons, it's local to us because it's in Yorkshire. It's got a good reputation and we know quite a few people who are doing it, so you get the support from other runners.
So all in all, it's the best autumn option for a reasonably quick marathon with good crowd support, well organised for us. As we said, we're coming from slightly different departure points here. Dawn has several marathon training blocks layered up. There's a couple you did through COVID, didn't you, when marathons were cancelled. Then you did the Chester Marathon in 2021.
Yeah, 328.
328. Yeah. And then obviously that training block, it's led to at least the start line of the Manchester Marathon this year. So myself, as I said, I've not done a marathon training block now for about 10 years. So I will just be grateful to get to the finish line feeling I've executed it as well as possible.
Are we ready? Are we rolling, Bob?
Yeah.
Okay, so we do have some races that we've planned within this block.
That's right, the first one is on the 17th of September and that is the Humber Coastal Half Marathon. It takes place in Cleethorpes, and firstly it's a good tester for myself of around marathon effort. Dawn will be running it a bit harder because that is also an England Masters qualifier over the half marathon distance. And the second race we've got 2 weeks after that is the Knutsford 10km race over in Cheshire, where we raced the other evening, Mid Cheshire 5k. Check that out if you've not done so already. And once again that qualifies for the England Masters team for the 10km distance.
Yeah, so I've decided to give myself a few goes at different distances. You know, got to be in it to win it, as they say.
That's right, so in a month and a half's time we could be talking about triple success for Dawn at England Masters qualification, or maybe not. I think the toughest is going to be that marathon qualification, because we already know of a couple of people who are doing that. You know who you are if you're watching this, who are in superb form and also in Dawn's age category. As for me on that 10k, I would love it, as Kevin Keegan once said, if I could run sub 40 there. I'm not sure, coming off a 20.015k a few days ago, whether we can quite stretch to a sub 40, but we'll keep on trying. It's going to be an autumn race, weather should be a bit cooler, air conditions better, so you never know. So one thing we've not done very much of as we've been training for 5k are marathon pace sessions. We did one a few weeks ago in the pouring rain. Go and check that out if you've not done so already. So today we're going to try dialing in what we think marathon effort or marathon pace should feel. So this is a no pressure session. If we end up doing one lot of 3 miles at marathon effort, it's good. It just dials it in, hardwires it in. If we do 2, that's great. That's a mini session. If we end up doing 3 times 3 miles, fantastic. That is a long run workout. So let's just see how we go. Dawn's wearing her elf flies.
Absolutely, because this is what I think I will be wearing for the marathon. Not sure, but it's a possibility.
And I'm in the Adidas Adizero Pro 3, which I've worn for several long runs and that long run workout we did previously. But if I feel okay, I am going to be doing a quick switch into my new alpha flies for the second rep. But that, we'll just see how things go.
Marathon pace for me will be anything under 8-minute miling. The closer I get to 7:30, the happier I'll be, but no pressure.
Yeah, for me, I'm looking anywhere between 7:15 and 7:30. It's a reasonably flat route, good surface, as we can see. It's a slight drag out that way for 1.5 miles and a slight decline back for 1.5 miles.
Yeah, I think we've got the breeze in our face. It's a nice breeze actually going up.
It's far better conditions than the last time we tried this session. Garmin always seems to lose signal by this bridge. Don't start to do a bit of steeplechasing there, jumping over a loose dog. That should have been a 3-minute movement break, but 2 minutes 40 of it spent changing shoes. So let's see how these alpha flies go.
Two.
Just listened to a great song called Tangled Up in Blue. Not quite sure if I'm tangled up in these yet. We've got some top runners out here today. More top runners. Rep 2 done. Britain's old railway lines. A great place to do these sessions. We're on the old Sheffield to Manchester line, we're just at the Thurgoland Tunnel. Then you can see it up there, but it says BR 1948. That means that British Rail took over the running of this railway in 1948. You go to the other end of the tunnel, you'll see it says LNER, London and North Eastern Railway, 1947, when the railways were nationalised by the Attlee government. Bit of history there for you. So now, back to the session.
Last one. Let's go.
Unit Bester. So, session done. Strong, nailed. How did it feel?
Okay.
Great analysis there, Don. Thanks. I think the viewers will learn a lot from that.
I think that was quite consistent.
Yeah, pleased with these. Hell for flies, I think you have to have strong legs that will work for you. There's no point sinking into them and feeling flat because they'll sink with you. So you better start swimming or you'll sink like a stone. No.
You have to get up on your forefoot, don't you? And really let them propel you along.
Yes. So when I ran with consciously good form, strong core, high head, etc., I felt really good. And those bits where you just sink and lose focus a bit,
yes.
I felt a bit like trudging.
I know what you mean, yes.
So the trick is to go in fresh and strong for a marathon. Who knew that, viewers?
So I thought it might be interesting to compare these two sessions of 3 times 3 miles at around marathon effort, done as you can see 4 weeks apart. On the first one, as we said, it was quite wet underfoot on the trail, and you can see my average paces came in at mid to high 720s, whereas on the more recent session, where it was good running conditions, they came out around 716, 717 pace. So we can see a 10-second per mile improvement in better conditions. Moving on to the heart rate, we can see in the first session I maxed out at 168, whereas yesterday I maxed out at 169. But the average for the second session was a little bit lower. I've not done a marathon, as I've said, for several years. I used to know bang on what my marathon heart rate was. It was 175 to 180. I suspect now, being slightly less well trained, that it will be around 160 to 165 based on these sessions, but time will tell. So that's quite interesting to compare those two results.
As you can see from my data, my first session was also very similar to John's, as in it was slower than my second session, but that is probably down to the conditions and the terrain. However, in my heart rate, you'll see I had a spike on the first session, so it corrupted the data slightly. However, I do have recent data from when I did Chester Marathon, where I was operating in the low 140s for most of the marathon, and then just letting it climb up to about 150 to 155 in the final mile. So this data, I think, shows me that I'm actually working in the right area around marathon effort.
So I hope you've enjoyed this unveiling of our new training block. If you have, please give this video a like. If you're new to this channel and want to follow the rest of this series, please consider subscribing. We bring regular training, racing, parkrun and various other running content.
So until next time, keep on keeping on.
Keep on keeping on.